Yes, hi everyone. My name's Ben, and I'm a student here at the College of Legal Practice. And I'm currently doing the part-time master's course in legal practice, which, as discussed, encompasses the preparation courses for both SQE1 and SQE2. So, and also as mentioned, I've passed SQE1, which I was very thrilled about, and I sat SQE2 in January of this year. So I am awaiting my results. And I guess um, in terms of kind of my career journey alongside the College of Legal Practice, I very much decided to do the part-time master's program as I thought it would work very well alongside my full-time role at Marks and Spencer as a paralegal in the employment law team. I already have my 2 years qualifying legal experience, so I decided to do the master's SQE course to, I guess, further my career as a solicitor, but also, and as Helen rightly mentioned, to broaden my kind of knowledge of areas of law that are covered as part of the master's course. Yeah, so that's a little bit of background about me, Jolly.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much. Of course, we have quite a lot of pre-collected questions, but then I've grouped
Sure.
them into different groups. But I guess the first thing is the first group, big group, is about the study tips and how you study. So, quite a lot of
Sure.
questions. So, first of all, just to ask you, how do you actually start preparing for the SQE exam? How do you utilize the material from the college and how do you combine that with your style and prepare for the SQE exam?
Sure. I think it's a really good question actually. Um, so I guess the one thing, and as Helen rightly mentioned, it's quite helpful because the College of Legal Practice is very guided. So you do log on to the Canvas account and you have a calendar and it sets out what you need to do and when. But equally there is that flexibility. So when I was doing my SQE1 prep, for example, I had a number of modules to go through throughout the week, but provided those SQE1 modules were done within that week, that's absolutely fine. So you could choose to study on the weekend, you could choose to study a little bit after work. It completely is very much down to you. But I think it goes back to my kind of first point I said earlier is about time. So I think that's the first thing that I would say in terms of how I studied for SQE. I think if someone told me at the beginning how much of a time commitment it is, um, I think I would have probably planned my time a little bit better in terms of kind of, you know, getting ahead when I was having a downtime. And maybe if you kind of can get ahead, if things do get really busy, or there is an area of law which perhaps you do need to spend a little bit more time on because you're struggling with it, you can afford yourself to have that time. But also in terms of actual study skills, I would say, and it was quite interesting how Helen mentioned that when she was speaking about a few examples. I think at university, at A level, at all kind of aspects of kind of when I have studied, I am very much an avid note taker. I take notes on every single thing, very intense notes, but that is just simply not possible with the SQE. You have to learn different skills. You have to really laser focus your learning as to what is going to allow you to be successful in the exam. So I think you have to revise very, very smart with the time that you've got. And I remember with my personal tutor at the time, it was something at the College of Legal Practice I really had lots of conversations with her about, and it was really, really valuable. And we worked on kind of study techniques, how we can kind of cut down on my notes and make a more effective use of my time. And also more broadly, I guess with the College of Legal Practice, you do start each subunit with kind of an introductory video or podcast. And it is really, really helpful because it allows you to get kind of the key principles and areas of law that you need for that module. And it is really, really helpful because then it allows you to go a little bit more in depth with the reading, but you already have that kind of broad bones of that area of law. So the College of Legal Practice really does allow you to build on that knowledge, which I think is really, really great. So yeah, so I would say time, effective study techniques, and also ensuring that you take a break as well, because I think, it's important that, when you are studying so intensely, and if you are doing the part-time course alongside working, it's very important to, study feeling refreshed. So it's important to take a break for yourself as well.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much, Ben. Really, I guess the kind of things that we take from here is like everyone has their own different style and technique. You
Yeah,
just need to find the right one for you, and then to make sure that you can study smartly as well, not just memorize everything. You need to make sure that you digest those information, you follow a way that will work for you as well. So that's really good to hear that. Thank you very much, Ben.
no worries.
And also, of course, just now you mentioned that time is very limited. And just now, Helen also mentioned that, for example, for the SQE one, you only have 1 minute, 40 second to actually answer, read the question, and then choose
Mhm.
the best answer. How do you find the SQE one exam?
Mm.
And after you do the exam, are you confident, or how was your whole experience in taking the SQE one?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. So I guess in terms of timing, Helen's absolutely right. It is a very intense set of exams. In terms of timing, I think it seems like you do have a long period of time, having multiple hours across, you know, several days. But actually, when it comes to it, it's a lot of questions to answer in a very short amount of time. And I think one of the things that I found particularly unusual about the SQE1 exams is that, you can answer one question on, say, property law, then the next question could be on business law, the question after that could be on tort. So you really do have to move quite quickly across different areas of law as well. So it can take it is I think it's a particular skill in itself. Um, but I think one thing that is pretty helpful is with the College of Legal Practice, there is a lot of opportunity to practice. That practicing kind of it with a particular module, doing mock exams that kind of almost replicate the SQE1 exam. So you do go into it fully, ready in terms of timings, and you know what is to be expected. So I think that's really, really helpful. In terms of the SQE1 exam day itself, it was unusual, I would say. It was a different experience because I think we're all so used to kind of doing exams in school, at university, etc. And you are doing this exam in a Pearson VUE test centre whereby it's a multifunctional building whereby people may be sitting different exams on the same day as you that are not related to law. So it's an interesting experience, and I think it very much depends on your test center. So I did my SQE1 exams in a very large centre in London, and it was huge. And there was hundreds of students all at one time sitting the exam across multiple rooms. And so, yeah, it can be a little bit overwhelming. But it very much depends on, I think, the test centre. But I think you do quickly adjust. I think once you are in the zone and you're sat at your table and you have your computer, you do get into it and you can kind of, progress quite quickly. So yeah, but it's a very different exam, particularly because it's single best answer. So I would say, you have five choices of answer for SQ1, and you do look at the answers sometimes and you think every one could possibly be correct, but you have to pick the most correct one. And so that is a skill in itself that, the College of Legal Practice really just help you with. So I think that is something you do need to think about before going into the exam, because I think you can know the knowledge down to a T, but it's the skill of applying that knowledge to the question and the STEM that is really important.
That's great. Thank you very much, Ben. And yes, I agree. It's all about practicing. And the more you practice, the more confident you are. And then the more you know how much you need to digest and then how quick you need to answer a question on average. So definitely really, really good advice. Thank you very much. And of course, just now, Helen did mention a little bit about like the surgery, how they will organize surgery, town halls, do group
Mhm.
sessions, and personal supervision. How do you find those sessions? Do you find them helpful in helping you study along like the whole journey?
Oh, 100% definitely. I think with the town halls, I think they're really good on kind of a practical perspective in terms of kind of where you're at your course, where the course is going, practical information about when to book your SQE1 exams or SQE2 exams. They set a really good solid direction about where you're headed, which I think is really helpful. And then in terms of the surgeries, I think it was useful to kind of get support from an expert in that area of law on that particular, particular unit or module. Um, and what I did is I used the discussion boards in the Canvas platform to ask precise questions. But if it was a question or a principle that I was really not understanding, I would save it for a surgery and then speak about it, because the chances are, and one thing I did learn, if there's an area of law that you're finding particularly difficult, chances are other people are finding it quite difficult, and then you can kind of engage in a conversation with kind of fellow students, the expert in that area of law, and really get clarity. So I think, yeah, really, really helpful. And I think, they are exceptionally valuable. And I would say that's, I guess, from also an academic perspective, but I guess from a pastoral perspective, I think one of the things that stands the College of Legal Practice out from other providers is the very personalized approach. And I mean personalized in terms of having I guess, a one-to-one personal tutor, whereby, I guess, from an academic perspective, you can discuss your concerns, your worries, or equally the things that are going really well in your kind of study journey. But also, I guess, from a pastoral perspective as well, because, it is a very intense course. And I do think sometimes you need that kind of support, that one-to-one support, which the College of Legal Practice does offer. So, yeah, so I think there is kind of it's not just with the College of Legal Practice, you're given kind of some textbooks and there, go, you've got the knowledge, practice. There are several steps and several ways of getting support, practicing. So you really do end the course feeling like, right, I am ready to sit the SQE1 course, the SQE1 exam now. So yeah, so it's been a really good journey, I would say.